I'm really, really excited to welcome today Nicola Comedy from NKC Equestrian Training. And Nicola delivers first aid courses for horse owners, and I've been following her for quite some time. So Nicola, explain to everybody a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
Well, firstly, Jenny, thank you for pronouncing my name right, because that is normally a massive stumbling block. If anyone's wondering how I ended up with such an obscure surname, I was Nicola Kinnard and I married the very lovely Mr. Comedy, and it was his very romantic idea that we join our two names together, which was all very lovely, but it is a bit of a pain spelling it out and just about fits on a credit card. But that NKC is obviously the name of my business. Not very imaginative, but there we go. That's what the NKC is. So top marks, Jenny, for getting my name right. So as Jenny said, I own and run NKC Equestrian Training, and we provide horse first aid courses, which are not all about riders falling off, as sometimes people email and go, oh, is that the one I need as an instructor? No, that's a different course. It's all about what you need to know as a horse owner, because let's face it, with horses, things, unfortunately, touching some wood here, things do go wrong from time to time. So it's things like preventative healthcare, what vital signs you need to know about your horse, what checks can you do on your horse to keep your horse as healthy as possible. I talk about vaccinations and the importance of taking temperature, pulse and respiration rates. We also look at what to do if something does go wrong, like what stock should you have, so the horse first aid kit, what to have, what not to have, what to chuck in the bin. Wound care we look at. We talk about lots of things have changed in the vet world, and all of my courses that I run are always based on current veterinary recommendations. So unlike a lot of other information you see online, I work together with vets, and I always have a vet deliver the course. So as I was just saying to Jenny before we started, that recently we've been doing these all online because of the current lockdown situation, and it's been super fun actually. So we always have a vet delivering the training, and as I said, it's always, all the recommendations are based on latest veterinary thinking. So sometimes people get a bit of a surprise when we say, oh, for example, you don't need to wash every single wound with Hibby Scrub, you'd be better with saline solution. And we love busting myths. Yeah, I'd say that's my favourite thing to do, is make sure people have the correct information, because there's so much hearsay, old wives' tales in the horse world. And if you ask a question in an online forum, Facebook group or something, hundreds of people will reply, which is great. They're trying to help, but they don't always have the right information themselves. And people can say things very passionately online with real conviction. That doesn't mean it's actually the best and latest recommendation for your horse. So yeah, that's the horse first aid course. People want to update their knowledge, just like we do with human first aid. And I'm sure, Jenny, I know you do some teaching like I do. You have to go on these courses every couple of years, and so things change. I've been on so many years, and each time something's different. So why not do the same with horse first aid? Recommendations have changed. Don't just rely on your pony club or your childhood knowledge. Get the latest recommendations. So yeah, that's our horse first aid course.
Oh, yeah, brilliant. And it's one of those things that, yeah, the technology changes, the science changes, and there are different things that we can do. And sometimes, yeah, what people used to think worked, yeah, it just doesn't anymore, does it? So it's
definitely. It's like colic. Years ago, although some people still do that, it was the thinking was you must force the horse to walk. It mustn't stop moving. It's got to keep going, whatever the cost. Lots of people, whips, brooms, anything, clapping, shushing, shooing, whatever. And now we know that actually isn't the best thing to do. Yes, gentle hand walking can be helpful, but you shouldn't be having to force the horse to walk. And that's not really going to do anybody any good. But again, you don't know what you don't know, do you?
No, you don't. And sometimes you don't know until you're in that position where it's happened. And I've been in some pretty nasty horse incidences over my time. So I know exactly what it's like when all of a sudden you've got this horse with this big gashing wound, and it's awful. And unless you're prepared for that, it's hard. It's a really awful situation. So I think what you do is amazing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, I feel so passionate about wanting to help owners, because as I said, there's lots of information out there, but it's not all correct. And I think it's really hard to know what source of information to trust. And I think haven't all been on a yard with the yard know-it-all, and you can have people just telling you what you should be doing, and if you don't know any different, you might just follow their advice or instructions, but it's just not always correct. And it's like the hippie scrub. You can be making a wound worse if you're using it too strong, using it too harshly, not rinsing it off. You're using it at the wrong point. It's not really the right thing for most wounds, but most people aren't aware of that. You might be making the wound feel more uncomfortable for the horse. It might be delaying healing, but you have the best intentions as the horse owner. And that's why I feel really passionate about getting the science, getting the latest recommendations out to the masses, so to speak. So I think it takes a while for information in any industry to filter down from the top. And I feel like I'm giving it a serious helping hand, giving it a shove down.
I think that's one of the things. A lot of the time, people on yards, they will copy what they've seen other people do in those situations, which might have been a year, 2 years ago, and they've copied their friends. And it reminds me of like a story of there was an old woman, and she was cooking her ham, and she put it in the pot and she cut off both ends. And her daughter said, "Mum, why are you cutting off both ends?" And she went, "I don't know, just what my mother did." And when they asked her mother, "Why did you cut off both ends?" And she went, "I don't know, it's just because my mother did." And when they asked her mother, she said, "Why did you cut off both ends?" She went, "Because my pot was too small." So sometimes we can't have copy things because we think we're doing the right thing, but actually we don't really know. Yeah, we don't really know why we're doing it.
I don't know why we're doing it. No, you're so right. So that is really what I feel so strongly about. I love science. I'm a real science geek. Love ponies, and I love helping owners. I'm a qualified instructor. I spent many years standing in arenas teaching people how to improve their riding to help them and their horse, and whether it is perfecting the ideal canter transition or updating the horse for safety. It's the same thing. I just want to help people because these people want to help their horses. Everybody wants to do the best for their horse, but whether it's you haven't quite got your balance and sitting trot, or your knowledge isn't quite up to date with horse care, people want help, and I just absolutely love running these courses. Yeah, it's so much fun.
So what made you start your business? How did it all come about? How did it begin?
Well, I have done teaching for many years, and I've run some big equestrian centres as well. So I went to a racing yard in New Zealand many years ago, ran a big equestrian centre in Greece as well, which is super fun and super sunny as well. And I've been running a big yard in Berkshire, and I decided to have a little bit of time away from horses. So I had a different job for a while. I still did a bit of teaching, and it was quite nice not to be full horses. When horses are your job and horses are your fun, sometimes it can get a bit merged together. So it was really nice to just have my horse just for fun. And then I started thinking, I've got all these horsey skills and got a master's degree, with teaching qualifications. I just feel like I'm not really using it. And I wanted to get back into teaching more. So I started doing a bit more teaching. But by this point, I had, how old was Millie? About 18 months old, a small child. And it just didn't really fit the sort of timings. It was, what it's like organising teaching. It's really hard to fit people in at the times that are convenient, with family life and so forth. So that's where I thought, what I'd really like to do is reach more people in one go. And the horse first aid course the idea fell upon me one day. And I thought, that sounds like fun. So yeah, we set a couple up, and it was just so much fun. So the first year, I did the first course November 2017. I did 3 that year. And as I said, it was so much fun. I did another 32 the following year. And then I found out I was pregnant with a second baby, which is very exciting. Had quite an ambitious autumn plan, so just kept going with a bit of a bump. And then, last year was also quite busy. I launched an online course and ran my first big conference last year, which was so exciting. And I've just delivered this course everywhere. I've been to Scotland, Northern Ireland. I would definitely like to go somewhere sunny, I have to say. So when we're all back to normal, if anybody wants a course in the Caribbean Bahamas, just shout. I'm happy to come. It's so much fun. And then I've run other courses. So we developed an anatomy course. We've run some dissection days. And it's just been absolutely amazing. I've worked with some fantastic vets. I've got this most amazing vets that I work together with. I've got 2 fantastic farriers that do some training on our dissection days. And I've met so many fabulous owners. I think about 800 people have come on a course now, and it's just been so much fun. Yeah, really good fun.
Oh, what do you like out of it? Like, what is the one thing, if you could bottle it out of what you do, what is the one thing that you really, really love?
It's when, after someone's completed the course, and actually I'm so delighted that when we've done this live online session, it's been just as exciting, because I'm so sociable. I love meeting people, and that was with lockdown. I was like, oh no, can't do the courses in person, but actually doing it via Zoom, it's been so super sociable. It's been lovely. My one thing I love, if I could bottle it, is when people say, that's made such a difference, or since your course I've done this, or thank you, I now know to do X or Y. Just get that warm fuzzy feeling, and it's so nice. I know I've made a difference to that person and their horse, and there's a strong chance that person will tell 1 or 2 or 5 of her friends one thing that she's learned, and that can help their horses. So knowing that I'm helping those horses and their owners, it's just such a great feeling. It's so
nice. I guess it's one of those things that you kind of don't want them to be in a position where they have to actually use it. Definitely. But the chances are we will, and at least, and when they come back to you after being in a position to actually say, I felt confident, I felt like I knew what to do, because there's nothing worse than having that panic if there's something wrong with your horse.
Yeah, definitely. So one thing I feel really passionate about is that people create an emergency plan. And like I always say, I really hope you don't ever have to need to use this. But at the same time, if you've never thought, actually, what would I do if my horse needed surgery, colic surgery? How would I get it to a horsey hospital? What funds do I have? Do I have insurance? What's it cover? Can I cope with the aftercare? Blah, 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 etc. If they haven't ever thought of this, it just makes a very stressful situation 10 times more stressful. And we give people the facts so they can make an informed decision, because often people are surprised, for example, colic surgery, that their horse would need 2 to 3 months box rest afterwards. And there's a lot of aftercare, but maybe you just rent a field. You might not have any stables. It's making sure you've got the facts. And that's what I just love, is delivering the facts to people, definitely. And I suppose part of the course is what to do when things go wrong, but part of it is how to keep your horse healthy. So there's things people can be implementing, immediately afterwards, like checking vital signs and so forth. I think one of our vets put it really well. He said, at vet school, we spend 2 years knowing normal and 3 years learning all the problems with horses. Obviously, a bit more detail than that. But yeah. I think as owners, we tend to focus on trying to understand common conditions, and don't put enough emphasis on knowing your own horse inside out, really nailing normal. And then, of course, communicating that to other people that look after your horse, particularly in the current situation. If you suddenly did become unwell and had to pass the care of your horse over to somebody, you just need to make sure that they've got the facts as well to look after your horse.
Yeah, and that's sort of one of the things. And so when you started your business, what did you find? How did you do it? What did you find was a struggle when you started?
Right. If you want the honest answer, I started it on my phone. I have run businesses for other people, but I suppose at the time I thought, I'm going to run a couple of courses. I didn't think I'm launching a business. Hindsight's great, isn't it? There's things I would do differently. But I simply set up a Facebook event, and I found a simple to use booking site. I did it on my phone on the sofa in the evening. And then I had a Facebook page for a bit of teaching. I think maybe 100 people liked it. It was basically everybody I knew. Like my mum, or my friends, their mums. And then I started producing a bit more content to go on that page. And then I just did another one, and it kind of evolved. So yeah, I literally set up my business on my phone on the sofa. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that I think a lot of people overthink how they're going to start their business, how they're going to build it, and they try and like put all this, and then they get stuck. Whereas actually, you just need to do what you can do now. It's about what can you do now and making steps. And sometimes, it's working out on the back of a £10 note how you're going to do it, and just taking
anything now. Just one course. Oh, this is fun. I'll do another one. Then another one. I think the degree of planning is probably good, but yeah, I totally get what you're saying. You can get stuck in the detail and never take any action. So I took a bit of action and didn't have a plan, but it all worked out fine.
And then it organically sort of come. So what have you found, like, since then, since when you to now, what's been the hardest part of what you do?
Oh, that's a really good question. What's been the hardest part? I suppose probably there's so many ways you can do things. I suppose learning some of the shortcuts. I wish I'd perhaps got the hang of those a little bit quicker. Like this, clever email marketing software and so forth. I wish I'd been perhaps a little bit more savvy at the beginning to get people onto my email list. I think the hardest part is probably finding. We've already said you don't know what you don't know. So if you're starting a business, you might not know how easy, in hindsight, it is to set up something like MailChimp or MailerLite or any of those email software things, and how you can literally email all these people or different people, different things, and so there's so many different things you can do. But if you don't know that, it can seem like a really big issue to get it all going. But yeah, I think probably working out how to some of those details has probably been the hardest thing, because there's so many clever ways to do things, but if you don't know what the name of that thing is, you can Google things until you're blue in the face. But it's like I use a program called Loom to record. I call it putting talking on my videos. So if I've got a PowerPoint, you can get a little picture of yourself in the corner, and you can hear yourself speaking, but you can see the slides. Oh, you've disappeared. There we go. I'm back. So yeah, my computer must have heard me say Loom. It's like, oh, do you want this program instead? So it's been so cool, but that probably took me months to find what that was. And it was actually, I asked in a business group that I'm in, and several people said, oh yeah, use this. It's so easy to use. But I had spent a considerable amount of time trying to work this out, how to do that. And that, yeah. So I think the hardest bit has been finding how to find the detailed stuff, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's kind of what I call, what I term beating around the bush. Stop beating around the bush, come, I'll tell you. And that's kind of why I do, like the Equestrian Business Support Network, because I know there's lots of different things and people haven't got anywhere to ask. And
yeah, definitely.
And that makes such a big difference when you think, okay, I want to be able to do this, how do I do it? And go into a place and ask people and get the answers so much quicker, because we can save so much time. There's so many ways that are brilliant for our businesses, aren't they, to help us with things. I love Loom. I absolutely love Loom. So
it's really, really clever. But if you didn't know that that's what it's called, I could, trust me, because I've Googled it extensively. So I think that would be a really good takeaway for people with their own business or wanting to set up a business, is get some sort of support network around you where you can, as you said, where you can just ask, how do I do X? Because the hours you will spend trying to work it out yourself, honestly, somebody will know the answer. Somebody will have done it already. And they'll be able to say, oh, I use X. Somebody else will use a different program, and you can go and look at those options and find the answer. But I think you try and do it all yourself, actually. That's quite a good takeaway.
It's really hard trying to, and I think sometimes we battle against it because we think, oh, I can't, either I don't know who to get the support off, or I don't know who to ask. A lot of the time we think, oh, we can't afford to get the help, and I think and it doesn't need to be like that at all, does it?
Yeah, definitely. I think you can waste time trying to figure out things, and I think it's probably, as you said, quicker, cheaper, and easier to ask somebody else or pay somebody else to do it for you. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. So if anybody's interested in sort of attending one of your courses and wants to learn more, where are they best to go, Nicola?
So go to my website, which is www.nkcequestrian.com. There you'll find we've got an annual conference, which, slight spoiler, haven't actually announced this, probably going to be online now. Was meant to be in Newbury in the end of October. And for a while I was thinking it'll be fine for October. Now I'm thinking probably won't be. So that's probably going to be a digital event. We've got a live horse first aid course starting on the 6th of June. So you can find all the details there. As well, our nutrition course and other things that we've got on there. And if people want to sign up for our horse first aid kit checklist, so that's just as it sounds, a checklist of what to have in your horse first aid kit, and then there's a series of follow-up emails which just break down why we recommend you have these products, how to use them, what to do, which wounds need a vet, and so forth. We can include a link for that, but that's also on my website. You can find me on Facebook, NKC Equestrian Training, or Instagram is NKC Equestrian.
Brilliant. And what I'll do is I'll make sure I include all those links in the show descriptions and in the comments, so that anybody that wants to find out more can do so. So, have you got anything else you'd like to add? What would be your one tip that you would give an equestrian business owner, like who's thinking about starting up a business this year?
Do it. Thinking about it, just do it. I think I have had so much fun. I have met the most amazing people. I think if you've got a passion for something, then you really must go for it. It's like setting up my conference last year. I set up a conference. I thought it would be nice for all the other people that I thought would come. I kind of set it up for myself because I really, really wanted to see some of these speakers, and they just never seemed to be anywhere nearby. So I was just like, I'll just invite them and run my own conference, which I did. So I think if you've got that passion, go for it. Yeah. Because, as Jenni's already said, you could be sitting thinking about it for several years. Just take a small step forward. You don't have to have I didn't have a website when I started. Just had a Facebook page with about 100 people that liked it, and my phone. So I don't think you need to, I could have done a few things better earlier, but get there in the end, don't you?
Yeah, imperfect action and progress is always better than perfect action and no progress, isn't it?
Yeah, done's better than perfect. That would be one of my favourite sayings, completely.
Yeah, and I think sometimes like people are, I can't start my business because I haven't got my website, or when I get my logo, or when I get, and I'm like, no, you can start now. You can go out there and you can start talking to people and finding out what it is that they need and how you can help and offer it. You don't need anything, it's like you don't definitely don't need anything. Especially people are always like, I need a logo and I need a website and I need to spend all this money, and it's like, no, you just need to get on and do. So I'll just check on.
The equestrian world is so big and varied. There's room for so many different types of horsey business, and I think that's what I think's been really exciting in the last few years. We've seen so many new little niche businesses within the equestrian world, and I think it's great. There's so many ways to have a horsey business nowadays, which I think is fabulous.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. Like a lot of people that, like one of my stories, I always say when I tried to get support and help and a coach, and a lot of people didn't get it, and they're like, oh, equestrians, no, that industry is too small, and all they could think of was riding schools. I'm like, there's so much to it. There's so many. It's almost like a mini world of business. There's shops, there's retail, there's instructors, there's vets, there's body workers, farriers. It's a massive industry that people don't always get, and I think you always forget what you don't do as well, don't you, when it comes to business? You've got that idea that you want to have a business, and you're only going to regret it if you don't take the action and move it forward.
Definitely. But I think my other thing I would have to say is I really wish I'd known the slightest thing or thought about branding earlier on. Not that you should spend months and thousands of pounds on a fancy logo or anything, but maybe just decide on some colours and maybe a font or two that you like and stick with it. I was definitely a bit guilty of every time I went on Canva, just, oh, new pretty template, use that one. So I realised I didn't have any kind of cohesion. But yeah, I just had a lot of fun playing on Canva. So I think that would be definitely a takeaway. You don't need, as I said, to get like a brand consultant involved. You could do, but you don't have to. Yeah, just pick a couple of simple colours that represent you and your brand, and as I said, a couple of fonts, and go from there. Because I looked a bit messy for a while.
And I think business, I think we all look a bit messy when we start. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's messy until we learn it. It's the same as like when you put a new child on a pony and you get them tried. It's a mess. They don't look like Charlotte Dujardin overnight, do they? And I guess it's the same with our businesses, that we've got to work through it, but it can be a bit painful, can't it? And it's a painful look back sometimes as well when you go, oh, did I really?
That's a really good analogy, actually. Yes, it's a bit like that sort of rough around the edges project. Yeah, that's definitely how my business looked to start with. But hopefully it looked more like it's just entering those first year of showing now.
Yeah, and you've had some good highlights as well. Like you were at Your Horse Live, were you? Or
I spoke at the Horse of the Year show last year, which was fantastic. Having Sue Dyson at my conference, a month later, that I have got to say that was amazing. Yes, I've had good press coverage. I love writing magazine articles. I'm very lucky. I write a lot of regular articles for quite a few publications. So I really enjoy doing that. Speaking of the Horse of the Year show, I love that. It was so much fun. And fingers crossed, but I'm not holding my breath that I'll be back there this year, but don't know. We'll have to watch the space as to whether that's going to be a possibility to run it or not.
Yeah, scary sort of time, isn't it? And I think that's what we need to also take forward, is that business is not going to be the same for quite a while. I don't think we're going to get back to the way things were. So would you have any tips for people like on their business, like now as we're going through sort of the end of the pandemic and such?
I think flexibility and finding a way that you can try and adapt what you're offering. I know it's been, as an instructor, although I don't do very much teaching, I can't do any teaching now actually. I teach like one person, very sporadic, because I still really enjoy it. But I still kind of keep in the loop of what the BHS are recommending for coaches. It's been great to see lots of coaches delivering sessions online. So I think there's so many ways to do things. If you can take your offering into some form of social distancing model or online, do that. And I think offering flexibility around payments, I think some people might really appreciate at the moment. Everyone, I think, has had a really different lockdown experience. Some people's finances may have improved, ironically, if their outgoings have been cut down through not going out, not eating out and so forth. Some people, it's been the totally opposite end of the scale. So I would say, I don't think you've got to slash your prices, but I think it's nice to offer extra value in. So with my live course, I've also offered in access to the self-study course. So it's kind of 2 courses for one. And I've offered people can pay in 3 installments, or they can pay monthly installments, because I don't want people to miss out. So I think adapt and be flexible. And yeah, I guess don't take things personally. If people say it's just not the right time for me, some people have probably got more time, and some people have probably never felt less. Some people have probably never felt more time pressured. Yeah. So I think, flexibility. Don't take it personally. And just Genghis is joining us. Genghis, our beautiful cat. I think he's a British Blue. Aren't you, Genghis? Genghis is from the Blue Cross. We have had him 3 years. I think we're his 5th home. Yeah, I know.
Oh, so lovely.
Who wouldn't want him? He'd been returned 5 times to the Blue Cross, something like that. Yeah, he's such a beauty. So lovely. He's like a dog. He comes to a call, comes and walks with us.
Yeah, it seems funny every time I go live.
This is a live stream, don't you?
We do a live stream on Facebook, and we've had this in when we've done like the network natters recently. The cats always come. They do. And we'd always end up with loads of cats.
No.
And I had to keep my doors shut because mine normally knock at the windows, and you can hear this like knocking as if it, come on, Mum, we want to come in. Maybe we just attract that vibe where they always decide they want to come in.
Well, yeah, Genghis doesn't want to be left out, do you, mate? Yeah, so I'm glad Genghis got a mention as well.
Oh, thanks so much for chatting to us today, Nicola.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Lovely. If anybody is watching on Facebook, like you're watching the replay or you've watched it live, and you've got any questions for Nicola, I'm sure you can add them in, and Nicola will come back.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And answer them. I will make sure I add in your links so that everybody can find you, and it's absolutely awesome. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Jenny. Have a lovely rest of your day.